Turning to the value of the pound for a moment, we've had a question come in from Morris on Facebook who asks, what do economists think will happen to the value of the pound in relation to the euro after a Brexit along the lines of the draft agreement on the table at the moment? So the deal that Theresa May has negotiated, should that pass, what do you think would happen to how much money our pound coins are worth in comparison to the euro on the continent?
I think the general view is that it would go up, not a huge amount, but it would probably go up. And the reason is that financial markets are forward-looking. So they're sitting back and they're thinking, well, maybe this deal will pass and maybe it won't. And if the deal doesn't pass, then the pound will drop, possibly by quite a bit. If it or something like it passes, it'll go up by something. So the current value, the sort of average of those different possible future scenarios, people are betting some people are betting one way, some people are betting the other. So once that decision has been made and we see whether or not there's a deal, if there's a no deal, then the pound will almost certainly drop, possibly by quite a bit. If there's some sort of deal along the lines of Theresa May's deal, or possibly even better for the pound, some other deal like, that leads to us remaining, I'm not sure how, but potentially, then you would expect to see the pound go up. I don't think it'll go up by a huge amount, but it should go up.
So just to kind of step back for a second and check we're understanding what we mean when we talk about the pound going up and the pound going down. If you were to put the kind of our currency against other currencies, it's about how much you can buy using kind of money in your pocket. And there's a sense from you that if we make a decision to back Theresa May's deal and that passes through Parliament, the sheer kind of stability and security that might offer would mean people would feel more confident in the pound, regardless of perhaps the details of the deal. It's about the kind of removing some of that uncertainty.
Yes, and in particular the fact that there'll be a transition during which almost nothing happens for a couple of years, and currency markets aren't really that... They're quite short term, so I think they will shrug their shoulders and say, okay, things are okay for the moment, and therefore there's a sort of discount built into the pound now because of the fear of no deal, and if that threat is removed, then it must go up some.
Okay. Just as a kind of follow-up question that's coming in, should the pound lose value, what do you think that would mean in terms of kind of the real world experience for your average man on the street, not the people that are negotiating things in Brussels or in Westminster at the moment?
I mean, we already know in some way, because when we had the referendum and when we had the Brexit vote, the pound dropped by 7 or 8% overnight, and then dropped a bit more when Theresa May came out for essentially a hard Brexit. So we already know what that does, and it's pretty much what you expect. It means that things that we import from abroad become more expensive. And unless our wages go up, which they didn't particularly in response to this, that means we can buy less, so we're poorer. So my colleagues at the LSE have did some sort of calculations of what that meant. They said that probably that fall in the value of the pound that came as a direct result of the Brexit vote probably made us 1.5 or 2% worse off. It cut 1.5-2% off the real value of our wages.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Then there's some other things. Obviously it makes taking foreign holidays considerably more expensive. It is good potentially for exporters, because when it means that goods made in this country that are priced in pounds are less expensive for somebody who's buying them using their dollars or euros. So a company that is heavily dependent on exports can benefit from a fall in the value of the pound.
So if the pound should drop, if it falls a fair way, the kind of most immediate way that the people watching at home might first experience that is that when they go to buy goods, when they go to buy food, when they go to fill up their car, things might cost that much more money.
Absolutely,
that their wages stretch that little less far. And that's a sort of situation that we'd see roll out. But there could be a kind of upside for some of the people that sell their products abroad.
Yes.
And in terms of going on foreign holidays, it's just likely to cost us a lot more money if that happens, without any doubt. Okay.